I know you're tired, you're trying. But you're tired. Some days you smile in public and cry in private. Some days you pray and still feel weak. You've whispered, God, please don't let me give up. Before we enter into this prayer, listen carefully to what happened in the Bible in 1 Kings 18-19, but to understand Elijah's breakdown, you must understand the pressure he was under. Israel was spiritually corrupt. King Ahab had led the nation into idol worship. The people were divided between God and Baal. Elijah stood alone. On Mount Carmel, he challenged 450 prophets of Baal. He said, "If the Lord is God, follow him. If Baal is God, follow him." The prophets of Baal cried out all day. Nothing happened. Then Elijah stepped forward. He rebuilt the broken altar. He poured water on the sacrifice, not once, not twice, but 3 times. He made it impossible in human terms. Then he prayed one simple prayer, and fire fell from heaven. The people fell on their faces. They cried, "The Lord, He is God." Victory. Power. Revival. But here's what many miss. Public victory does not cancel private exhaustion. After the miracle, Queen Jezebel sent a message, "By this time tomorrow, you will be like one of those prophets." A death threat, and something inside Elijah cracked, not because he didn't believe in God, but because he was drained. He had just fought spiritual warfare. He had just stood alone against a nation. He had just carried the burden of revival, and now he was tired. He ran, not to a palace, not to friends. He ran into the wilderness. In 1 Kings 19 verse 4, Elijah sat under a broom tree, alone, isolated, emotionally collapsed, and he prayed, "I have had enough, Lord. Take my life." Notice this carefully. This was the same man who called down fire, the same man who shut the heavens, the same man who raised the dead earlier in his ministry. Even strong believers reach breaking points. This wasn't rebellion. It was emotional burnout. He didn't stop believing in God. He just felt like he couldn't continue. And maybe someone watching this feels that way. God did not say, "Why are you afraid? Where is your faith? After all I've done." Instead, God let him sleep. An angel touched him, gave him bread, gave him water. He ate. He slept again. God's first solution to Elijah's depression was not a sermon. It was rest. Sometimes spiritual exhaustion needs physical restoration. Then the angel said, "The journey is too much for you." God acknowledged the weight. He didn't minimize it. Elijah traveled 40 days to Mount Horeb. There, he hid in a cave, and God asked a powerful question, "What are you doing here, Elijah?" Elijah said, "I am the only one left." That's what exhaustion does. It makes you feel alone, forgotten, abandoned. Then something dramatic happened. A strong wind tore through the mountains. But God was not in the wind. An earthquake shook the ground. But God was not in the earthquake. Fire passed by. But God was not in the fire. Then a gentle whisper. Sometimes when you're tired, God doesn't shout. He whispers, because broken hearts can't handle loudness. You are not alone. I have reserved 7,000 who have not bowed to Baal. Elijah thought he was isolated. But heaven had already preserved support. You may think you're the only one struggling, but God has already arranged help you cannot see. Maybe you are under your broom tree right now. Maybe you are hiding in your cave. Maybe you're whispering, God, I've had enough, but the same God who fed Elijah is feeding you strength right now. Faith can be heavy sometimes. Nobody talks about this part. They talk about miracles. They talk about breakthroughs. They talk about victory, but they don't talk about the waiting. They don't talk about praying the same prayer for months and seeing nothing change. They don't talk about waking up strong in the morning and going to bed mentally exhausted at night. You believed. You trusted. You declared. You sowed. You fasted. You showed up, and yet, the opportunity hasn't opened. The healing hasn't manifested. The apology hasn't come. The financial pressure is still there. The family issue is still unresolved, and you're asking quietly, God, am I doing something wrong? That question is heavy, because when nothing changes, the enemy whispers, maybe God forgot you. But that is not true. Sometimes God is silent, not because he is absent, but because he is building something deeper in you. There's a kind of tired that sleep cannot fix. It's not physical. It's emotional. It's spiritual. It's the tired that comes from holding yourself together for everyone else. Being the strong one in the family. Encouraging others while secretly discouraged. Smiling in church but crying in private. You don't want to disappoint anyone. So you keep going, but inside, you're running on empty, and here's what makes it worse, you feel guilty for being tired. You think, I shouldn't feel like this. I'm a believer. But listen carefully, Elijah was not weak. He was overwhelmed. There is a difference. Overwhelm happens when pressure lasts longer than your current strength. Even Jesus, in the Garden of Gethsemane, felt deep distress before the cross. Strength does not mean you never feel pressure. It means you keep showing up despite it. You see other people testifying. Other people celebrating. Other people announcing breakthroughs, and you're still waiting. And waiting can feel like losing, but waiting is not losing. Waiting is preparation. Sometimes the delay is protection. Sometimes the silence is strategy. Sometimes the not yet is mercy. You don't see what God is blocking. You don't see what he is rearranging. You don't see what he is preparing behind the scenes. But he sees it all, and here's the part many people don't say, sometimes you're not tired because you lack faith. You're tired because you've been fighting alone. You haven't told anyone how hard it really is. You haven't said how scared you really feel. You haven't admitted how close you were to giving up. You've been carrying it quietly, but God sees the quiet battles. He sees the tears you wiped before anyone noticed. The prayer you whispered when your voice was shaking. The moment you almost quit. But didn't. That matters. That is strength. And here's the powerful truth. Your breakdown is not proof of failure. It may be the doorway to deeper dependence on God. Elijah thought he was finished. But that cave became the place where God gave him new direction. Your tired season may be the transition season. You may not be breaking down. You may be breaking through, if you're still here. If you're still watching. If you're still listening, that means something. You may feel weak. But you are not finished. You may feel tired. But you are not defeated. Let me remind you of something powerful. In 1 Kings 19, Elijah thought he was alone. He said, "I am the only one left." But God told him there were still 7,000 who had not bowed. What does that mean? Sometimes exhaustion makes you believe you're alone. But heaven knows you're not. The enemy wants you isolated. Because isolation makes quitting easier, but God sends reminders like this video to whisper, "I still have a plan for you." Galatians 6 verse 9 says, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." Notice something important. It doesn't say, "if we are not tired." It says, "if we do not give up." Tired is allowed. Quitting is not. There is a harvest attached to your consistency, and harvest season does not announce itself. It suddenly appears, one phone call, one opportunity, one connection, one divine shift. What if you are one step away, one prayer away, one day away, one decision away? Don't let temporary exhaustion make you cancel permanent blessings. Let me speak directly to you. The pressure you feel is not random. The weight you carry is not meaningless. The tears you cry are not wasted. God is strengthening your spiritual muscles. God is building endurance in you. God is preparing you for something bigger than your current capacity, because what is coming requires a stronger version of you. And this season, it is producing that version. You are not breaking. You are being built. You are not losing. You are learning. You are not forgotten. You are being formed, and the fact that you are still praying, even through tears, means the fire is still alive inside you. And as long as there is fire, there is hope. Now let's pray. Eternal God, the one who never sleeps nor slumbers, the keeper of my soul, the lifter of the weary, the strength of the brokenhearted, and the hope of the hopeless, hear me, Lord, as I lift my spirit to you. I come to you honestly. I am tired, not physically alone but mentally, spiritually tired. Lord, you see what nobody else sees. You see the pressure. You see the silent battles. You see the expectations I carry. You see the moments I almost gave up, and yet I'm still here. Father, when my strength runs low, be the strength I don't have. When my faith feels small, carry me with your faithfulness. When my thoughts become heavy, replace them with your peace. Remind me that delay is not denial. Remind me that silence is not abandonment. Remind me that you are still working behind the scenes. Lord, heal the discouragement in my heart. Heal the disappointment I don't talk about. Heal the fear of what if nothing changes. Break every whisper that tells me to quit. Renew my mind. Restore my passion. Refill my hope. Give me strength for one more morning, one more effort, one more prayer, one more act of faith, just one more step. And if I can only take one step, walk it with me. Father, breathe fresh fire into my spirit. Let exhaustion leave. Let clarity return. Let peace overflow. I may feel weak, but you are strong. I may feel tired, but you are eternal. Hold me steady until my breakthrough arrives. If this prayer spoke to you, type, "I will not give up" in the comments. When you type it, you are declaring it. Share this with someone who is silently struggling, and subscribe for daily powerful prayers that strengthen you in difficult seasons. As we close this prayer, I invite you to gently close your eyes. Take a deep breath. Eternal God, the one who never sleeps nor slumbers, we seal this prayer with faith. Over everyone watching right now, I declare strength over weakness. I declare clarity over confusion. I declare peace over anxiety. I declare hope over despair. Every spirit of discouragement, loose your hold. Every voice whispering give up, be silenced. Father, where there is heaviness, release fresh strength. Where there is delay, release divine acceleration. Where there is exhaustion, release supernatural renewal. Just as you restored Elijah in 1 Kings 19, restore everyone under the sound of this prayer. Let tonight mark a turning point. I declare, they will not quit. They will not collapse. They will not break under pressure. What tried to drain them will not defeat them. What tried to stop them will not succeed. Strength is rising again. Faith is rising again. Courage is rising again. This season will not destroy them. It will develop them. Doors that looked closed will open. Answers that seemed delayed will arrive. Peace that felt distant will return. Father, cover them. Protect their mind. Guard their heart. Strengthen their spirit. We declare boldly, we are not giving up. We are not walking away. We are not surrendering to fear. We stand in faith, and we trust you completely. In Jesus' mighty and powerful name, amen.